Hey, what's up, Amazon sellers? I'm Nate here with Hustle Buddy, where we share tools, tips, and advice for sellers like you. Now, in today's video, I'm going to talk about the basics of Keepa, or Keepa for Dummies, okay?
Idiot.
There's a lot of different aspects to this tool, to Keepa, and this is by far, by a mile, the most widely used tool for Amazon sellers. There is no replacement. There is nothing that you can get instead of this. If a tool says, oh, you can use us instead of Keepa, they're lying to you. That is not a thing. There is no competition currently for Keepa. They stand on their own as far as tools go, and it's such an invaluable tool because it tells you a couple very important aspects of a product. It tells you the historical price information. So you know, is this price rising or are we already tanking in price? It will also show you the historical sales rank chart, or the historical BSR, which is very important to know when you are trying to figure out, is this product selling? Because is it profitable and is it selling are really the only two things that you need to know when you are looking at a product and deciding if you should buy it, okay? Now, I'm not going to be getting into all of the more advanced features of Keepa and all the really cool stuff that you can do with it. I'm just gonna be talking about it in a very basic, rudimentary form. When you first get Keepa, what are you looking at? How do you set up your settings and all of that, okay? Let's dive in. All right, so when you buy Keepa, and it is a European-based company, so when you buy it, your purchase will look like it is in euros. Don't be alarmed, that's normal. It'll exchange it to US dollars if you're in the US, okay? When you first purchase it, and it's around 17 to 20 bucks right now, depending on the conversion rates. When you get it, you get access to the website, keepa.com, but you also can get the Chrome extension here. Okay, so this is in the Chrome web store. You can see here, I've got Keepa installed. Now, once you have Keepa installed, when you look at an Amazon page like this, I've pulled up this Pokemon page here on Amazon. If you scroll down, you will now see this Keepa chart down below. Now, when you first get Keepa, it's going to feel very overwhelming because there's a lot of data here. I want to prerequisite all of this with Keepa is not exclusively made for sellers. It's made for everyone. In fact, I believe there are more customer, like buyer accounts that use Keepa just to track historical prices to try to find good deals. I believe there are more users using it for that than there are sellers using it. It is a very wide tool with a lot of different uses. And so there is a lot of information here that is not pertinent at all to us, and we can completely turn it off and not worry about it, not look at it, not ever think about it again, and that is completely fine, okay? So I'm gonna show you guys here on this page what you can sort of turn off and turn on. I want to show you a little bit in here what the actual Keepa homepage will look like. And then I want to show you guys the settings. Okay, now if you've just gotten Keepa and you want to set up your settings, just like my settings, go ahead and pause this video right here, open up a new tab, keep this tab to the side, and just put all of your settings like I have them here. As you expand, as you use this more, you are welcome to change these around, but this will give you a good starting point for where you should be so that we're all sort of on the same page, okay? All right, going back to this is what your Keepa account is going to look like the very first time that you get into it. Now, the first thing that I recommend you do is over here, click on this little bar with the arrow. It says 1 through 9, click on that, okay? The reason I say this, I don't know why Keepa defaults to it, but Keepa defaults to, so this is your y-axis, the up and down numbers, your y-axis. It defaults to low numbers being high and high numbers being low. It calls things drops, so like a sales rank drop is how people reference it. If you are looking at it like this, you're looking at it upside down basically, because a drop would be a lower number. And so when I say a drop, you're going to see a jump and you're gonna get all sorts of confused. Every single person that I know who is an active Amazon seller looks at charts like this. It also makes sense mathematically. Your zero should be at the bottom. Your smallest number should be low on a y-axis, okay? So first and foremost, click that. That'll save you a lot of confusion. Next, there are a lot of these colors and lines and charts and things that you can turn off, okay? We are interested in seeing the sales rank. So this green part right here, you can see this green line. We are going to leave that on. We are interested in seeing the buy box, this pink line. We want to see that. We will sometimes want to see this new price, the blue line. This is often, it can be an FBA or an FBM seller. If it is an FBM seller, it will not include shipping, but sometimes you will want to see this as well. These lines, this new third-party FBA and new third-party FBM, these are not really all that important because they're covered by, I mean, 99.9% of the time, they're covered by one of these first two, okay? And also this list price, you can go ahead and turn that off as well. We're not gonna need that, okay? If you would like to use this like close-up view, you can. It doesn't really make a whole big difference. It's just sort of how the data is presented to you. I leave that turned on, okay? So we see here we've got the green bars, the pink bars, and the blue bar. Also on some listings, there will be another option for if Amazon is on the listing. And I do recommend that you turn that on just so you can see if Amazon is there. And that will be sort of like an orange colored in section. Okay. Now in this area down below, you can go ahead and turn off every single one of these. All right. You will want to leave on this yellow one. If you do not have this middle section available on your screen, it is this button right here for sub ranks. We're not actually interested in the sub ranks. We are only interested in this monthly sold. This is hard empirical data coming from Amazon that tells us exactly this many sold in the last 30 days. So you can see up here, this is a Pokemon plush. In the last 30 days, we know from Amazon, at least 50 of these have sold in the past 30 days. It probably has not passed 100 sales, or else it would show us 100. It goes from 50 to 100, and then 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 900, and then it starts jumping by 1,000. So it'll say like 1,000, 2,000, and so on and so on, okay? So for this, between 50 and 99 of these have sold in the last 30 days. So we do want to see that. This is very important data. Down below here, you can see the ratings. I would say you can go ahead and turn this off. This is just the star rating. It's not really that important. I do recommend you leave on the review count. This is the number of reviews this product has. Now, this is not a perfect science, but on average, it's usually about 100 sales happen before a product gets a review. So when you're just kind of guesstimating, if you don't have any other information to go off of, if a product has, say, 5 reviews on it, you can sort of guesstimate that over the lifetime of that product, it's probably been purchased about 500 times, okay? Again, it's not an exact science. It could have been purchased much less. It could have been purchased much more, but just to give us a ballpark idea of where it's at. So I do recommend you leave that on so you can see a movement in it. I also recommend that you leave on the new offer count. New offer count is how many new offers there are, how many different people are trying to sell this currently. And so with this on, you can see trends like, are there a bunch of people jumping on? So let's just pretend that we saw it right here and we scanned it on November 16th, okay, when there's 15 new offers. I would have seen on November 15th that over the past couple weeks, we've gone from 4 new offers all the way up to 15. So with a spike in the seller count, you know what's going to happen to the cost and the price of this item. When the supply increases and demand stays the same, then the price decreases. It's the law of supply and demand. So as this blue bar goes up, the seller count, you see the red bar comes down. That happens pretty much every single time. And the inverse is also true. So you see the new offer count going down. Okay, we've gone from 15 back down to about 6 sellers. You can see the price of this. It went from about $23 as the buy box, and now we're up to $34 as the buy box. Okay, so this is the information that is important to you. Now, how do you really like go in and read this, especially as a beginner? Now, there's lots of advanced stuff that we can do here, but I want to focus specifically on the beginners, on the new sellers, on the small sellers. You're just getting into this. I don't want to confuse you. There are exceptions to these rules, but it's sort of like, it's when you teach a kindergartner their ABCs, and when you're talking about the letter G, you don't talk about the words night or nat or neighbor, okay? You say G says G. That's what I'm gonna be talking about here with Keepa. So if you see or hear some discrepancies or like, oh, I heard this other thing was also true, it can be true, but I'm trying to keep this simple for the beginners, okay? So I am, just for this first example, I'm gonna turn off everything just so we see this green bar, this new, the sales rank. Now, what is a sales rank? The sales rank is where does this product rank in relation to all other products in this category. So right now we are in toys and games. So how does this rank compared to all other toys and games on Amazon? And currently, as of right now, this is ranked about 192,000. So this is like the 192,000th best selling toy on Amazon at this moment in time. Now, sales rank will update about every 15 to 30 minutes on average. Some products it's a little bit more, some products a little bit less. Not really important to you. But what is important is the change in sales rank. If something is not really changing in sales rank, or you see like a plateau or just a slow, steady climb, like this green bar, instead of looking like this, maybe it looks like a mountain, okay? Well, that indicates this is not selling, because if the sales rank is not dropping ever, then it's not really getting sales. A sales rank drop doesn't necessarily indicate a sale. It can, but it doesn't necessarily indicate a sale, because remember, you are ranking this compared to all other products in this category. So if something sells twice and another thing sells once, the thing that sold twice will drop lower than the thing that dropped once. Or if it takes this thing 1 week to sell and that thing 2 weeks to sell, the thing that took 1 week to sell it will have, in general, a better sales rank because it had a more recent sale, okay? It's not exactly correlated to sales. I recommend that you stop listening to anyone that tells you to count the number of drops. That's not a thing. Unless a product is moving incredibly slowly, counting the number of drops is completely useless, worthless data. Don't bother doing that, okay? You can even see here, it says 7 drops this month. So those people who say, oh, well, that means it sold 7 times. No, it's wrong, because I just told you a little bit earlier, we have this hard empirical data from Amazon that says this has sold between 50 and 99 units in the past 30 days. We know this with 100% certainty. So if you look at this, and then you look at this, and this is like, oh, this doesn't make sense. It's because this is useless. Stop looking at this. Anyone who's trained you to look at that, stop listening to them, because they don't know what they're talking about, okay? All right, so sales rank is the change in velocity. Now, ideally what you are looking for is you wanna see a sales rank that looks kind of like this. This kind of looks like an EKG or a heartbeat or a skyline. Those are good looking sales ranks because they are moving. When something is moving in sales rank, it is selling, going up and down and up and down and up and down. How much is it selling? Well, here's where I talk to beginners specifically. That doesn't matter. Stop trying to figure out how much something is selling, because as a beginner, you should be going very wide and not deep. What I mean by that is you do not need to be buying 100 units of this Pokemon thing. If you find this Pokemon plush toy and you're like, wow, this is a really great deal, do not go and buy 100 units of it, because if you're right, great, you'll make some money. If you're wrong, you just lost a ton of money. And as a beginner, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you're missing. You don't know the little pitfalls that there could be. And also at the beginning, you're not trying to make money. I know that sounds strange, but at the beginning, as a beginner seller, you are trying to learn. Your first 6+ months on Amazon, you should think of it as Amazon University. You are here to learn as many lessons as you can for as cheaply as possible. Okay, you don't want to spend $1,000 on this one Pokemon toy to learn one lesson. Maybe you learned the lesson, oh, I need to check if I'm restricted before I sell something. And you have 100 of these units that you spent $1,000 on, and now you can't do anything with them. So you just spent $1,000 learning one lesson that could have cost you $10 instead of $1,000, okay? Because you could have just bought 1 or 2 units. When you're just buying 1 or 2 units of something, it does not matter to you how fast something is selling. What you want to see is that it's selling, but the difference between something selling 10,000 units a month and 10 units a month is irrelevant if you just have 1 unit. In either of those scenarios, you can sell your 1 unit within a month. Whether it's selling 10 units a month or 10,000 units a month does not make a lick of difference to you, okay? So I strongly encourage you to stop worrying about how much, because first off, that's impossible to know. I mean, we get that 50 plus from Amazon, so we know that this one is at least selling 50 a month, and that's nice. Sometimes we'll get that, but oftentimes you go in pretty blind. We can see the sales rank, so we can see the movement. We can see just a general feel like, oh, okay, this is probably selling within this sort of range, and you will get better at that over time as you become an experienced seller. You sort of get a feel of different sales ranks and what kind of sales those equal. But there's no sales estimator, anything like that, that is perfectly accurate. In fact, a lot of times they are wildly wrong because they're just using weird bits of data, okay? So it doesn't really matter how much it's selling. You just want to see that it's selling, okay? Is it selling consistently? Does this line look like it's moving up and down and up and down and up and down? Okay, that would be a good sales rank. If it has no sales rank, and this can happen for a variety of reasons on Amazon's end, sometimes they just stop tracking this, sometimes they stop sharing this data to third parties like Keepa. This isn't a complete red flag. So I see on this product, it has a sales rank and then it doesn't, and then it has it and then it doesn't, and then it has it. For me, that's not a red flag. As a beginner, if you scanned this here in November and there was no sales rank, generally I recommend to beginners just skip it. If it doesn't have a sales rank, it's a little bit more complicated to figure out if something is selling. So as a beginner, save that lesson for a couple months down the road when you have your feet under you, and don't worry about that right now. For now, you're looking for a sales rank and you want a sales rank to be moving, okay? The lower the number, the better. But remember, it's just a little snapshot in today. So if you took a sales rank estimator right now and you see it's ranked 223,000, you might think, well, that's not that great of a toy. It's probably not selling a ton. But if you scanned this just a couple days ago when it was ranked 81,000, you'd think, wow, this is a phenomenal toy. This is selling all the time. And that's why I say don't rely on the specific number of the sales rank. You want to look at the movement, okay? So you see this is moving up and down and up and down. This sort of looks like a skyline, looks like Chicago, looks like New York, okay? This is good, okay? If you find a product, maybe I can pull one up here. If you find a product that looks like this, well, it's not quite as good, okay? So we can see here, this is a book, okay? It's actually a book one of our friends wrote. You can see the sales rank going up and up and up and up. This is not moving. These little blips, ignore that. That's not a sale, okay? That's just how sales rank are recorded, okay? It's going up and up and up and up and up. This has not sold at all since April. So no sales, no sales, no sales, and then boom, there's one sale here at the end of August. You see the sales rank drop, this green bar drops. That would indicate for me, that would be a sale. Because this is moving so slowly, we can sort of count the number of sales. So there's a sale at the end of August, and then no sales, no sales, no sales, no sales, no sales. Boom, there's a sale, maybe even 2 or 3 sales here in November. We don't know exactly, but there was some movement down here at the beginning of November. And then no sales, no sales. Boom, there's probably another sale here at the beginning of January, okay? So this would be something that I would probably avoid, unless it's a book and you got this for like 10 cents and you're trying to sell it for $50 and you're okay holding on to this for like a year. This type of product will not sell rapidly for you at all. It's probably not going to sell within a month or 2 or 3. It's going to take you quite a while. If you're doing books, that can be okay if you're okay holding things for long term. But if this is a normal everyday product, let's say it's a grocery product like a can of beans, no, hard pass. You're not selling this before it expires. Not a chance, okay? Also, I'm going to take this opportunity to show you this further box, this Amazon section, okay? So I said on that previous one, if you had all of this stuff turned on, you can go ahead and turn all of this stuff off. We don't care about the used prices. We don't care about the good, the acceptable, the collectible, the list price, any of this stuff. None of this is important to us. What I do recommend you leave on though is Amazon. Okay, so this is the orange area. Okay, this shows you that Amazon is selling it, that they're in stock. You don't have to avoid this. At all. I don't know who keeps spreading that rumor that you can't compete against Amazon. You don't have to avoid it, but it is useful information to know going into it, okay? All right, so this is a sales rank that is not moving, and the previous one was a sales rank that was moving, okay? Now, the other thing that we want to see is historical price. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to this listing here. The price right now is $34, and I believe we can buy this for $11.99. All right, so right now, this is actually pretty profitable. Now, has it always been profitable? Well, it's a little bit of a spike over the last 3 months. You can change the date range that you're looking at here. I usually have it defaulted to 3 months, and then I'll also look out to a year if I don't like what the 3 month is showing me. So here, the 3 month, this is showing me that on average over the past 3 months, I would say this sells for about $23. So if I change my $23, yeah, it's probably not all that profitable under normal circumstances. Now, something happened recently where these sellers probably can't get this anymore. Maybe it is gone out of production. Maybe this is a retired set that Pokemon is no longer making. Whatever the reason, people can't keep it in stock, so this new offer count is dropping. And when this new offer count is dropping, the price is increasing. So you can see here it's gone from 23 up to 29, and now we're at about $34, $35, okay? So it is profitable at $35, but not so much back here. So I wanna see, is this the normal price or is this the normal price? So I'm gonna pull this out to a year to see where has this been historically over time. And I can see historically, yeah, this has gone through a number of occasions where it was up here at like the 34, 35, or about 30 bucks. Now, if this is still profitable for me at $30 and I can buy this for $11.99, I would personally pull the trigger on that. Yes, it has occasionally been lower than 30. I see a little drop there at 26, and this crazy drop here where it went down to 23 for a little bit. But this is actually more the exception than the rule. And I wouldn't have known that if all I was looking at was the 3-month or even the 1 month, okay? So this is pulling it out a little bit to get a bigger picture. This is why Keepa is so important, okay? It gives us this historical information that we need to know in order to make informed buying decisions. This will help avoid so many bad buys, so many. Okay, I wish I would have gotten Keepa sooner as a early seller because I made a lot of bad buys that I could have seen and I could have avoided if I had just looked at the Keepa charts here. Okay, so that is Keepa in a nutshell. That is probably 90% of what you're going to be using Keepa for. Again, there are more advanced tricks and things like that and ways that you can use Keepa to source and actually find things using the Keepa website. But 90% of what you'll be doing is looking at these Keepa charts. You wanna see, is it profitable and is it selling? And you wanna see historically, how has that been looking? Okay, so look at the sales rank and look at the stability of the buy box, okay? All right, that is Keepa in a nutshell. Those are the beginner basics that should get you off to the races. If you're interested in further, more advanced Keepa learning, feel free to watch our other videos on this. Just go to our YouTube channel and you can do a search for Keepa directly on our channel. And I've got close to 20 videos now going over different aspects of Keepa and ways to use it. So if you want more advanced training, go ahead and do that search. All right, that's it for me, guys. I hope you learned something new. We will see you in the next one. Hustle on, everybody.